right, hello out there, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Brian's Basement. I'm Brian, and this is my basement, so I hope everyone's having a good week so far. I have a very special guest on the show tonight, and I'm so excited to talk to him for an hour or so and shoot the shit, play some songs, drink some beers. Before we do that, though, I'm gonna play a song of my own just to kick things off. This first song is a song I don't know if I've ever played live at any open mic. So what better way to start it off that on a medium that will be forever set in stone, and so my flub will be permanent. Anyway, this song is called "Everything I Want to Do." I want to study architecture in the hills of Norway. I want to walk from New York City to California. And I want to spend some time building an Eskimo igloo. I want to have a spiritual vision in downtown Timbuktu. But everything I want to do, I want to do with you. And everywhere I hope to go, I hope that you go too. 'Cause everything I am is only everything you are. And if I take you everywhere, I know I will go far. I want to search for treasure at the bottom of the sea. I want to have 1,000 people play a game of hide and seek. And I want to spend the night sleeping in a haunted hotel room. I want to have an exhibition of an ancient Egyptian tomb. But everything I wanna do with you. And everywhere I hope to go, I hope that you go too. 'Cause everything I am is only everything you are. And if I take you everywhere, I know I will go far. Don't have to worry, don't have to fret. If I want to go sled riding on the slopes of Everest. And if I should lose my way and I don't know where to go, you'll be there for reasons I don't know. Oh, and everything I wanna do with you. And everywhere I hope to go, I hope that you go too. 'Cause everything I am is only everything you are. And if I take you everywhere, I know I will go far. All right, thank you so much. So at this time, I'd like to introduce my distinguished guest today. He is a quiet, you're not on yet. He's a longtime friend of mine that I met at Millions Open Mic, and he is most known for his band Jamwave that's been around for a long time. So I'm really excited to talk to him about his story in music. So help me welcome Joey Meyer. How's it going, Joey?
Hey!
Hey!
Hey, Brian.
It's so hard.
This is great.
I almost said called you because in my phone you're Joey Jamwave, and so I always think of you as Joey Jamwave. So I almost like actually said that just now. How's it going, man?
Oh, dude. It's great. Thank you so much for doing this. This has been so nice during quarantine. My little weekly outlet is tuning in. And actually, my son and I watch this usually during our lunchtime. So you're doing quite well in the 15 to 18-month-old demographic.
Ooh, wow. That's
yeah.
good to know.
The
I've got to do well in at
song,
least. What's that?
He gets going with the theme song, and then everybody that plays music, he's into it.
Yeah, I gotta do well in at least one demographic, so I'll take it.
Yeah.
So how about
You're doing well.
how about we kick it off with a song, and then I'll ask you some questions. So what are you gonna play for us?
In honor of Earth Day last week, I'm going to do Earth Song,
Okay.
which is one of my favorites to do, and I haven't played it in a very long time. but I wrote it a long time ago to try to save the planet. You know, I had high hopes back then, and we're still doing what we can, but that's what this song's about.
All right, this is Earth Song by Joey Meyer in Brian's Basement.
Sunsets over the water, the moon kissed us daughter, Mother Nature's face fall from the heaven. Seas dark and skies gray, children play on the shore each day, with a smile never thinking of tomorrow. The world is fading with the sun, everybody lives by the way of the gun. A phoenix rising just too far. This life of love is below everyone. Today, today, you'll be here with the newsman saying, while the world turns away. Someday, someday, gonna live our own way before the earth turns red. Hey, space built a house of cards. The queen stole a jack of hearts. The king, he ran off with 3 tens. A melody without a rhyme. So to watch our father time. Drop beat, dancing till the sunrise. The world is fading with the sun. Everybody lives by the way of the gun. A phoenix rising just too far. This life of love is below everyone. Today, today, we'll hear what the newsman saying while the world turns away. Someday, someday, we'll live our own way before the earth turns red. Ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum, ba-da-da-da-da-da-dum, ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum, ba-da-da-da-da-da-dum, ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum, ba-da-da-da-da-da-dum, ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum, da-da-da-da-da-dum. And with life on the run, a new day has begun. The world smiles with the rising sun. A life of love is all we want. Today, today, you'll hear the newsman saying while the world turns away. Someday, someday, gonna live our own way before the earth turns red. Today, today, you'll hear the newsman saying while the world turns away. Someday, someday, gonna live our own way before the earth turns red. All right.
Man, thank you. All right, so
Thanks.
yeah, let's talk a little bit about how you got started doing this whole music thing. So when did you start playing guitar and singing, and when did you start writing, and was it the same time or not?
No, nothing happened at the same time for me. It was all building blocks. I started in high school, went to Elder, had no idea how to play any music at all. I took a beginning band class, learned saxophone, loved it, did marching band, got into playing drums, and that's where I started playing steel drum. And and then right as I was going to college, I bought a guitar because that was the cool thing to do and have in your dorm room and try to learn some songs. And I really couldn't play. And I took it to college and I just kind of kept working at it freshman year, kept, learning songs I wanted to play, like Bob Marley and Jimmy Buffett, OAR, and, all the stuff I like. And, eventually I kind of got over the hump of that learning curve, and I was able to, start playing more complicated things. And then I did a few bands that I just played rhythm guitar in, and that was kind of like getting thrown into the fire. But after that, when I was like junior, senior year of college, is when I started like writing my own songs and coming up with that. So it all was like a big, big building process.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that because a lot of people do learn in like middle school or high school, but I'm also a like college age type musician and writer too.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like I was a little late. I mean, I played piano all through college, but I picked up the ukulele sometime in college. So, um, but yeah, so it's I know it is. People always say like, how do you learn a guitar? How do you learn? No one asked me how to learn ukulele, but they say how do you learn how to play the guitar? And I always say that it's super beneficial to be super bored a lot, like in college when like cable TV is not a thing. And there's nothing to do in your tiny dorm room. That's the easiest way to learn how to play guitar.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. Wow, I would have not guessed you were a college learner, so to speak, as well.
Yeah, it took me all the way to college to learn how to play the ukulele, and I still can't really play the guitar. So I'm very slow. So you mentioned some of your influences, Bob Marley and Jimmy Buffett. So what is it about those artists that originally got you hooked?
I really like feel good music. I really like music to put me in a better mood or um, keep me in a better mood. And their music just really struck a chord with me. In high school, I was real into like ska music
Oh yeah.
and horns and with the saxophone and you kind of cut that in half and go halftime and you get the reggae feel and once I stumbled upon all that I really fell in love with just reggae music in general and that probably has been one of my biggest influences but I like sad songs too. Don't get me wrong; they definitely have their place, and I listen to lots of slower music. But I really just like the vibe, the positiveness, everything's upbeat. And that's kind of how I started writing as well. Was just kind of like I wanted to I wanted to play songs that I wanted to play, and I had some songs in me that needed to come out, and so I just loved playing them, and that's kind of how I started actually writing.
Yeah, I want to get like way into that. I definitely want to get into that about
Okay.
the upbeat music because that's something that well, I mean, it's something that I'm terrible at. But I want to ask you a question about Buffett. Do you ever catch any flack for being a Jimmy Buffett fan? Because I do. I feel
Oh
like
yeah.
it happens a
Oh
lot.
yeah. Yeah, it happens a lot, and to those I say go to the show, um,
Yes, that's
go to
true.
the live show. You'll be surprised how many songs you know. Like he says, it's songs you know by heart. Um, and I'll admit, after 20 shows that I've been to of his, um, sometimes I sneak off during Margaritaville because I've heard it so many times.
Sure.
But I love his band. I think, the musicianship is phenomenal. He's got a lot of different instruments and instrumentations, and I just really enjoy it. I really do, and I love his deep cuts.
Yeah.
He's a very good writer, and Bob Dylan will tell you. Bob Dylan once said that Jimmy Buffett was one of his favorite writers. So if
Really?
Bob Dylan said it, then you know it's true.
Well,
Yeah.
I always think that too. For my first concert when I was like 6 was a Jimmy Buffett concert. I think my dad took me to it. I had a cheeseburger yo-yo.
Are
It
you
was
serious?
yeah, it was really cool. But I think his deep
Oh
cuts
my
are like
god.
really kind of interesting, and they hit. I think the what makes him a good writer is he can write the hits, but also like can like go a little deeper too in some of the B-sides. I think Elton John, Bernie Taupin are kind of like that too. I just wanted to mention that because
Yeah.
I hear that all the time, and but I hear a lot of that that Buffett influence in your music, and especially what you said about the instruments, that also comes into play too. So when does
Yeah.
Jamwave start?
I need the Jamwave historian Nick Fed here. He knows all these dates and he can tell you everything. But to my knowledge, the first Jamwave show was in the fall of 2008,
Whoa.
and that was at college, my last year up there, and the band was kind of a mashup of different guys, but Nick was there and Nick played, and it was an opening set, of course, and I played like 3 originals and some cover that I don't remember, and then I closed with um, John Fogerty or CCR down on the corner, and I had like everybody come up and play instruments and beat along with it, not realizing that song is so hard to sing actually, and that's never been played again. But
It took you to the show to realize that. Like, that's pretty
yeah,
funny.
yeah, because you live and learn. But I love the song. I'm like, oh, this will be great. I know it by heart. It's very easy. Everybody could play it. I think we had one practice, and I was kind of like, whatever. Well, let's just do it, and we did it, and it was fine. But it's very hard to sing. It's very high. But it was great. It was a good time, and everybody came in and played on it. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's a pretty positive story for first gig, man. That's awesome. So I want to talk more about Jamwave, but how about before that we have another song?
Okay, all right.
What are you gonna play for us?
This one is one of my favorites to do. It's kind of short and sweet. It's called "Good Life," and I always say I hope everybody's living their good life, and hope you guys are too. So here's a little good life for you.
All right, Joey Meyer, Good Life.
Touchdown, yeah, back in my brain. Palm tree and up to provide some shade. Left the station, I 9:30, heading up north through Oceanside. Rocks and beaches, dogs on leashes, living is easy with the sunshine breezy. Good night. Living in a West Coast man, yeah, it's a good night. When you're bringing it down, yeah, all we beat it, all we run. It's a good night. When you're breaking it down, yeah. Beachside chillin', got my love in tow. Tracks keep rolling northwest, I don't know. Salty air tries to drive you mad. Brand new suntan, well, ain't that bad. Rocks and beaches, dogs on leashes, living is easy with the sunshine breezy. It's a good night. Living in a West Coast man, yeah, it's a good night. When you're breaking it down, yeah, all we need is all we run. It's a good night. When you're breaking it down, yeah, yeah. all we need it, all we run. It's a good night. When you're breaking it down, yeah, it's a good night. When you're breaking it down, yeah, it's a good night. When you're breaking it down, yeah, it's a good night. When you're breaking it down, yeah, it's a good night. When you're breaking it down, yeah. Good
Nice,
lad.
nice, nice. Thanks, man. All right, let's talk a little bit about Jamwave. So
How we
Jamwave is
doing?
what's that?
I said, how we doing? It was breaking up there on my end. Are you
Oh,
good
really?
still?
No, I'm not
Yeah, we
I'm
okay?
not having any issues over here.
All right, perfect.
Yeah, I think we're good. Yeah, we're good. Um,
All right,
so let's talk about Jamwave. Jamwave's your main gig.
yeah,
Um, I and I think it was interesting you mentioned it. You mentioned Nick Fed. So for people that don't
yeah.
know, who is Nick Fed? When did you meet him? And what does he bring to the band?
He's William's godfather. That's what Nick Fed is. No, I'm just kidding. But he is. He's my son's godfather, and that's just how important Nick has been to me and my wife and in our life. But Nick is Nicholas Fedorenko from Kalamazoo, Michigan, and I met him in college at Ohio Northern University. We were both polar bears, and this would be somewhere around 2005. He could tell you exactly the day and the time and the month and the place. I think it was in my frat house, maybe. He tells a story where he came in the door and I gave him a beer, but
Yeah.
I'll believe it. But sure. Uh, but he was in band and in the marching band, and I was in drumline, and we had a lot of mutual friends, and he kind of hung around with uh, one of the first bands I was in, which was a cover band, and he would come to shows and tune everybody up and make sure everybody was ready to rock and roll, and in video, and he just became a great friend, and we actually then started jamming whenever we would get together and just sitting down with guitars and playing songs and that. And when I started writing, he and I had been playing music for at least a year or two, and he was a great songwriting partner because sometimes I would come up with a song and he'd be like, no, that's not the right key, or you got to do this chord minor, and I don't understand theory like he does, and it was great to have him, that early on, starting out, and obviously Nick is still here today. So when we actually graduated at the same time, and I was coming back to Cincinnati, and he went on to grad school in Columbus, and he kind of drove back and forth for Jamwave practices and shows, and then eventually he moved here as well, and and we lived together for a while, and that's how we kind of did the first album, and he's my musical brother. So Nick, if you're watching, love you, buddy.
Yeah. Shout out to Nick Fed.
Call
I
in,
mean, he's one of the
call in
best.
later.
He's one of the best like guitarists that I like personally know. I mean, he's incredible. And like we went when we did that Listing Loon show this
Amazing.
winter, he was like,
Yeah.
I don't know these songs, and then he just was like ripping on them.
Yeah, and I did that. I kind of did that on purpose. I was like, I didn't really tell him what I was going to play. I
Yeah,
was like,
yeah.
you come up, you want to come up and play some songs with me? And I love doing that because he remembers stuff, and he remembers these things better than I can. And he is like a human jukebox. Like he can play literally like any song ever,
I believe
and at least play part of it. Like he knows everything.
Yeah.
He's amazing, amazing.
Big shout out to Nick Fed. He's super cool. He's super. Maybe he'd come on the show. Maybe you think he'd come on the show?
Oh yeah, you gotta get him on the show.
Yeah, we gotta get him on.
Absolutely.
We gotta get Nick Fed on the show. All right. So shout out
He
Nick
will love
Fed.
it.
You're rad. So Jamwave
Yeah.
is. I was just listening to your stuff, And is I never realized this. Is the concept of Jamwave a jam band and like a coastal band? Jam plus wave?
Um, that's a great question, and um, yes and no, I guess. The way for that first show that I was talking about, we needed a name, and somebody was like, "Well, your initials are Jam. My initials are, Joseph Alex Meyer, Jam."
Oh,
And they're like, "And you like the ocean, so why don't you just call it like Jamwave, man?" And I was like, "Okay, yeah, that works." Uh, and
interesting.
and that and that was it.
That's
Um,
funny because
so
I'm listening to your stuff, and I'm on that first album. Uh,
yeah.
for everyone out there, it's called Brighter Days, released 2013. On that first album, I hear like jam band influences. Like I hear a little Fish, and I hear
For
a
sure.
little like Humphreys in there. Like and I was like, oh, maybe that's what it's all about.
Yeah, it's not all about that, but that's definitely a big chunk of it. Especially when it comes to like the full band. I'll take a skeleton of a song and then full band will turn it into, something else, something completely different sometimes. But jam bands are a huge influence, especially with that album. Brandon Vitrals, also from Ohio Northern, he was the first drummer, and huge influences from Fish, and we all like Fish and like the Grateful Dead, and so that was a big influence starting out, and yeah, you're right. You can hear a lot of that on the first album, and you know when we get books sometimes like, well, are you a jam band, and like they say it like they don't want a jam band,
Yeah,
so
right.
it's always like, no, we're not a jam band. But then other times somebody will be like, hey, we heard you do that Fish song and we really like that, can you do, yeah, we do more, yeah, we can do that, kind of whatever fits the bill, whatever the venue's looking for, yeah, we can do that.
Yeah,
So
the
yeah,
there's
jam music for sure.
yeah, there especially on that first album is just it's so fun and well produced, and it's just like I think you do have like I think you have like one or two slow jams on there, but most of the whole
Mhm.
thing is just like rip roaring. So what can you talk about like the writing and kind of the process of where did you record it? How did that go? Because it seems to be a very like professional outfit because it sounds great.
Well, thank you, man. Thank you. I really appreciate you saying that, because like like everybody always says, blood, sweat, and tears went into that thing, and we we were really adamant about wanting to do it all local, all in Cincinnati, for that first album, and so and again, Nick would know all these facts for you, but we recorded it at Soap Floats, which was Ben, or it still is, Ben Cochran's studio. It used to be down on Eastern. I think now he's in Covington. But Ben Cochran, great local engineer. So everything got recorded there, and mixed and mastered by Chris Schmidt, who we met through playing shows at the Mad Frog. He was there, still is their sound guy, and he has run sound all over town, and just a big staple of the Cincinnati music scene. Um, and Nick and I recorded, extra instrumentation and stuff kind of on our own, in our house, that we lived with in on Drake Avenue in Oakley. And so we went to the studio, we did like drums, bass, guitars live, and then we did the vocals and the steel drum and all the percussion and all the horn stuff on our own. And then we
Really?
took it to Chris Schmidt, and he, magically made it all sound that great. And we had, I think that album is 10 songs. I think we had 11 or 12, so not like many more that didn't make it, but it was pretty much every original we had at the time. And um, I remember it fondly because Nick and I worked so hard on that. Really, Nick really did it all. Like he produced that thing. Like I hope he's proud of that, and someday he looks back, because he put a lot of time and effort into that, and he's done some amazing things obviously since then. But um, for being the age that we were back then and doing that, um, it was really a lot of time. But it was nice because it wasn't rushed. It was like it'll get done when it's done, and I think we released it in September of 2013 was the first release.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a staple in the summertime CD rotation in my car. So
Oh, thanks, man.
it's just like I don't know, and I hadn't listened to it in a while until a couple nights ago, and I was like, man, this shit is cool. I especially
Oh,
I like the song "Smile" a lot because that's very jam bandy, and there's just so many parts
yeah.
to it. That's a really cool song.
Thank you, man. And that was like one of the early songs, and then it went away for a while, and now it's been back the last few years, and I love playing it because I love the intro. I think the intro on that song, that sort of reggae intro, is one of my favorite things to do in the band is play that. And my part is very simple. I just love like being in it and hearing it, um, and that was very kind of like a late addition to the song, um, but yeah, that song has a lot of left turns. It's not a traditional song, and that's
Yeah,
kind of why I like it. You know?
yeah, man. So you um you went through a major band shakeup a couple years ago, where I think
Yeah.
it was you had a drummer and a bass player, and Nick
Hmm.
Fed. It was like a four, right?
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then they kind of went their own ways, and you had to kind of rebuild Jamwave from the ground up. You and Nick. So can you talk a little bit about like what that was like, and how you went about basically finding a new band?
Yeah. That was about I guess 4 or 5 years ago now, and um, you know it wasn't like abrupt enough that we were just like, I mean, we had shows booked, and the other guys were going to play some other, I think, some other shows or something, and start a different project or join a different project. But um, you know, we were able to like finish out the shows we had, and then um, Nick and I found. Well, not found, but we had reached out to Paul Littlefield, who was a guy I knew from high school, and he's a big reggae drummer, reggae guy, and so he came back, and Jack, um, our previous bass player, came back as well. So we were able to keep it going, and keep writing songs, and doing it with those guys. But you know, sometimes life happens, and those guys got busy with other things too. And we found Justin, who's our drummer now, and Justin has just been so amazing. He's studying music right now at UC, and he has a couple different projects, but he's been phenomenal. And and that was like when everything really clicked together again, and we were able to start like really sitting down and writing. And you know, I was watching your show from last week, and Jordan was on there, and I remember calling up Jordan at the time, like, man, who do you know? Like, do you know bass players? And you know, he basically said like, you know, you and Nick are the band. You guys are the band, and the band's not over until you guys say it's over. And that really was super important to keep going, and that was one of the many challenges this band has had over the years. But you know, it's all about finding the right people. And
Totally.
I think once you do, and once you have that, you know, a band is like a brotherhood, is like a family. So once you have that, you're set. And the guys in the band now, Grant and Michael and Justin and Nick and I mean, it's so nice to have them all. And unfortunately, we haven't been together, in forever,
Yeah.
but we'll be back.
Yeah, man, that's cool that you were able to kind of find brotherhood and that family like twice, in two different iterations. So I want to get to another song, and I know we were going to talk about this before this
Yeah,
song, but I want to get to the
yeah.
song. Um, but so
Okay.
everyone, Jamwave is a really fun band to watch live, and the reason is because they have all these different instruments, kind of like he talked about with Buffett's band. He's got all these instruments, and one of the things that's super cool is the steel drum. So, Joe, you said you're gonna play a steel drum song for us.
Yes, yes. So let me kind of get this over here. So um, we'll see how this goes. I've never played sitting down before, but this will be interesting. So yeah, this is one of the ones we like to do. It's called "It Won't Be Long," and you know, again, it just kind of has that positive message that um, you know, brighter days are around the bend, and if you're having a bad day, hang in there, and we'll get through this. So let's try it out on steel drum.
All right, we got Joey
We'll see
Meyer.
how
It won't be
it goes.
long here in Brian's basement.
He walks the streets, yeah, he's not alone. Bed in daylight, far from home. Getting lost on your dead end street. Walking in the moonlight, trying to feel it. We head out in different ways, just to find us a brighter day. But the stars don't show the way. All the pretty lights have gone away. Empty thoughts hide a lifeless eyes. Bedside in one man's life. To the sky just to feel alive. Standing on the edge, searching for sunshine. Breaking bottles just to ease the pain. Once the tide through the pouring rain. He tells stories to his heart again. It's time to let it go. Another day's breaking. Another storm is fading. I know the night's still young. And it won't be, it won't be long. For the fight is over. For the battle's won. And it won't be, it won't be, it won't be. Taking this time from a regular day. Living a lie just to stay away. These bullets don't go astray. Toying with the devil is the only way. Yeah, winter days lead to colder nights. Float along like a river of ice. Setting daylight just to feed his vice. Living's the only way. Another day's breaking. Another storm is fading. I know the night's still young. And it won't be, it won't be, it won't be long. For the fight is over, for the battle's won. And it won't be, it won't be, it won't be long. Yeah. And it won't be, and it won't be long. And it won't be, and it won't be long. And it won't be, and it won't be, and it won't be long. It won't be long, and it won't be. Yeah, 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 yeah. I know this time it won't be. Another day's breaking. Another storm's fading. I know the night's still young. And it won't be, it won't be, it won't be long. For the fight is over, for the battle's won. and it won't be love. Yeah. Staying up all night searching for you. Yeah. It won't be love.
Hell yeah,
All
man.
right.
How many other live streams are gonna have a steel drum on them? I don't know. Maybe we're unique here. Yeah, we were talking before we went live and having one of those things. How it must be so fun to play, and you probably can't have a bad day at work, come home and jam on that thing a little bit and not feel better.
Exactly, and I think that's probably how that instrument came about. You know, it was made out of an oil drum that washed up on the shore, and that's how they started playing it. And yeah, you can't have a bad day.
Yeah, it just seems to. I was telling Kim, I was like, I want one so bad, and she was like, look at all of your giant pile of Kim, show them on the camera the giant pile of instruments that I have that I don't ever play. So anyway, so we're gonna do right now. We're gonna open up the call-in section. So if you have a question for me or Joey Jamwave, then call on in and ask your question. And in the meantime, we're just gonna talk about some stuff about songwriting.
Yeah.
So okay, so let's follow the steel drum path here.
Okay.
You have on your live shows, they're very upbeat. They have lots of instrumentation. What do you have like a type of philosophy with your performance to kind of keep it upbeat, or like how do you like maintain that energy?
That's a good question. I always want, I always want people to feel good. I want people to hopefully leave, feeling better than when they got in there. And and that's something that one of my big influences is the band OAR, and those guys. You go to one of those shows, and same with like Jimmy Buffett and any of those guys. It's like you feel better leaving the door, and that's kind of the idea. And not that every song has to be like just super positive and sunshine everywhere, but you want to try to find that lane and ride that out. And the nice thing with our band is like the instrumentation and the talent. Like the guys that are in the band are seriously the hardest working, talented guys in the city, in my opinion. And a lot of them play in other projects too, and they'll tell you the same thing. It's like we've got such great musicianship that there's never really a bad show because the live show just has all that firepower.
Yeah, I mean I've always enjoyed I've always enjoyed checking out a Jamwave show because of that, and especially with the new incarnation of the band has like the hand drums and the all the kind of like different instrumentation, and I like the couple shows I went to at Lucius Q. I mean, it's just super fun, and that's how I got into Lucius Q was because of you guys playing there. I was like, this place is pretty cool. I'm gonna see about this thing.
Oh, amazing place.
Yeah, shout out.
I was supposed to play there this weekend.
Oh, really? Shit, that sucks.
Ah.
All right. So we're still in the call section. We're still waiting.
We'll be back.
We're still waiting for calls. We're gonna see, but I've got a prop. I do props. I do props at every show. So I'm gonna try to do this. I don't know. I just got this text. This is a picture of me at Jimmy Buffett show at 5 years old.
Oh my god!
Yeah, look at that shit. Look how happy I am. Look at that. Oh man, look at that. Look at that face.
Wow.
Oh boy, you just want to tell him what's going to happen, right? Oh man, but that was a good time. I actually remember that. So I was 5 then. So
Can I interject?
What was that here in town?
Yeah, that was here in town. Oh, Kim wants to talk, I guess.
According to Teresa,
Yes, please.
she just sent a text about the picture, and apparently the boys only made it halfway through the Jimmy Buffett concert before they got too tired and had to go home. So don't let Brian fool you and think that he's really a Jimmy Buffett fan.
Oh wow. Okay, I should. That's why I don't. That's why I don't give you the mic. Um. Yeah. So there you go. That's that.
Well, I bet you still heard Margaritaville and Fins and
Yeah.
Volcano and
Right. Yeah.
all the heavy hitters.
Right. I'm sure I did. I do remember that cheeseburger yo-yo though. All right. Well, we're still waiting for calls
That's
here.
awesome.
Is Kim? Is anything coming in on the comments? No, nothing tonight. Nothing tonight. Wow.
Just
Well,
tank it.
it happens, dude. It happen. You know what? Let's just give a call out. Sometimes, uh, okay, we're not gonna call Jen, and I know not to call Stefan. It's Stefan and Rachel's anniversary, everybody. So happy anniversary to them. So let's see who. You know
Yeah.
what? You know who I'm gonna call? We're gonna call. We're gonna call my friend. We're gonna call Jake. See what he's up to. I hope he's watching tonight.
Yeah.
He didn't reply. This is what this has happened with Peaceful Sorrow too. We ended up just calling people. So let's see what we got going. Jake, here we go. Call him up. Let's see what he's doing tonight. He's
Yeah,
probably,
Jake.
God, I hope he's watching the show.
I do too.
Oh man, this is horrible. Oh yeah. Oh man, this is terrible.
Mailbox of 20.
Oh no, he doesn't even have a real.
Oh.
He doesn't have a real voicemail. Oh god, hang up. All right, you know what? We're done with the call-in section tonight. I just want to say it to all the fans.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching, but no thanks. Okay, because that was terrible.
Yeah.
I expect better. Anyway, let's talk about. Oh wait, I got a text message. Oh Jesus! Don't send me a text message. All right. Anyway, let's call-in section over. All right. Let's dig in.
All
I
right.
want to the one of the things that the one thing that I really wanted to ask you, and we've talked about it a little bit tonight,
Yeah.
is the upbeat and positive songs that make you feel good. I think that this is a super interesting thing that you are like very like open about, and like that is your thing and you don't hesitate to tell anybody. But it seems like now it's like a badge of honor for songwriters to be like, I wrote a really sad song. And honestly, it's like, God, that shit's kind of boring. Like, you can only write like shitty songs about glue and things around your basement so much. So what do you think it is that makes a good upbeat song, and that and why is it that you're drawn to that and want to bring that into the world?
Yeah. I think. I mean, I think songwriting just has to come from the heart. I think it just has to be authentic. Most of the music I write is upbeat, just because I'm usually in a good mood, and it's hard for me to just play like angry guitar. Like if I'm upset, I typically don't just work out a song. I'll play guitar, sure, but I have to be in a good mood to write. And a lot of times, as I'm sure I mean, the songs just come. You can't control it. So it's like when the song hits you, you got to write it down. But that's just for me personally. I've written slower songs and sadder songs, and I think they definitely have their right time and place. And honestly, probably some of the best songs I've ever written are the slower, sadder kind. Musically, those are the best ones. But for me personally, I want to play the upbeat, the fun stuff, the high energy stuff. And all this talk has got me just jonesing to get back with
Yeah,
the band
I know, me
because
too. And
those
so
guys, man, just bring it.
me too. Just hearing you talk about it makes me want to get out there. And do you do this like is the songs you write, are they coming from a place of you're trying to pump yourself up, or are you trying to pump other people up, or get people upbeat, get people positive? Is it for you or for them or a little bit of both?
It's probably a little bit of both. That's a good question. I've never really thought about it. But like I said, I can't. If I don't think I could write a song if I was trying to pump myself up. I would just play something that I like,
Yeah.
um, or play guitar, play steel drum, and yeah, sometimes maybe a song will pop in and come out of that. But for the most part, um, I'm in a good mood and I'm writing, and I've got an idea or I've been sort of noodling on a melody all week, and when I finally get a chance to sit down and knock it out, I'll try to do that. Um, I think for me, I definitely try to knock it out pretty quickly. Like if I sit on it for a few days or a few weeks, I feel like the song never really goes anywhere. I kind of feel like your best you go with your gut feeling. Your best thought was the first one. Um, but I do want people to feel good. So yeah, I guess part of it is writing for people too, like you said.
You it's funny because some of the things you're saying, like about how like you gotta write a song that you actually feel is genuine, and you gotta write a song fast to like really capture the moment. It's fun. All of those things are things I would say, but for a more uh like kind of sad song. So I wonder like
Hmm.
so it kind of see it's just, do you think that, or what do you think like makes, like what makes a good fun song? Because if I tried to write a fun song, it would just be not very good or fun. So what do you think is like the kind of like the elements you need to kind of have a song that like that brings people up?
Yeah, I guess, man, you got some great questions.
I'm
Uh,
so fascinated about this because it's
to,
very
to bring,
different than my personal
yeah,
experience. So
well, yeah, this has got me thinking too. But from a musical level, um, you obviously want to write mostly in like major keys. Um, if you're gonna write songs in minor keys, they tend to be you know sadder, for lack of a better word. But most of the music I write is in major keys, and key of C and key of A and key of D and things like that. Um, so there's that at the basis of it. But um, I I don't think, honestly, I don't think lyrics are extremely important because as much as I love lyrics and like I obsess over like liner notes, and I when I get a CD, like I'm reading the lyrics and I want to know what they said. I feel like half the time you can't hear what people are saying on stage, and people really just feel the song, the music, the beat, the vibe, and so that's where I think the meat of it is, and that's where a happy song, so to speak, becomes a happy song. Um, not that you could just sing about anything, but you
sure.
could kind of sing. You could kind of sing about anything behind a good beat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no,
So I think that's the real trick.
well, the thing that I think that is missing from like if you go to like a singer songwriter show, like if you show up to see
Yeah,
like Brian Sauer at some shitty bar, like the problem is that
yeah,
like it's you seriously can't have an attention span long enough for a 50-minute gig of like just weird like uh like low tempo stuff. Like I don't I think fun is a big missing element in like the singer songwriter world.
it is. It really is, and it's also it's hard as a just one person to convey that. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like I've got it easy because I've got the band, and I've said I used to say this all the time. I've said it for years. Like, I'm the weakest link. The guys are the best musicians. You know, I'm the weak link, and we're great because they're great. And I've said that from day one because I've been so lucky to play with these amazing musicians. But yeah, a songwriter, you know, to convey that with one person and an instrument is so hard. You're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, I have the
Yeah.
same experience in my band too, where it's like, man, these guys they take my songs and then they add that kind of like vibe you're talking about, and it makes even like we play slower songs faster, we play softer songs louder, and everything. And not to say that we don't just blow everything out, like we come down too, and but we're capable of expressing so much more from the instrumentation. It's so hard to
Yeah.
do it solo. Like, it's hard to hold people's attention solo, just strumming on something and singing words.
Absolutely, absolutely, and cheers to all those that can do it and do it well,
Because
because it is so
some
hard.
people can. Hey
Right.
me. So let's finish on this. What is like one song or what is one song or collection of songs or something that you're especially proud of, or can think of like a time that it just makes you feel good about it, or like what's like a standout cut that we should go listen to.
Um, that's that's got me thinking. My gut response, which is a terrible answer because it doesn't exist yet, but it's the new stuff that's coming. Um,
Yes, good. No, that's a good
and
answer. I love that answer. Tell me
so you
about it.
can't
What
go.
is it?
Yeah, well, you can't go listen to it, unfortunately, but you it's coming. And um, what it is it's an EP that um, we had recorded about 2 years ago, and um, we, you know, we got sidetracked and sidetracked and sidetracked, but we have so many of these songs that have just been sort of in the mix, I guess. So we've been playing them live lately, and they're just really upbeat and high energy. And I'm excited to finish these things up once we can get back to being in a studio and and going through that whole process. But to answer your question, of the stuff that's out there and the stuff that's recorded, I love Good Life. I really that song is super special to me, um, and I it's probably one of my favorites, if not my favorite. But also from the first album is Sunshine Beat, and Sunshine Beat is kind of like our grand finale at a lot of the shows, and one of those songs that takes a lot of different turns, but kind of ends with a lot of steel drum and a lot of guitar solos, and that really is definitely one of my favorites.
That's awesome, man. So speaking of that steel drum, you got one more song for us tonight?
Yeah, I'm gonna do a little Sunshine Beat.
Okay, perfect.
I've never done it, you know, solo, so to speak. So we'll see how it goes. It might be solo beat or Sunshine solo, but we'll see how it goes.
All right, it's the Sunshine Beat, Joey Meyer on Brian's Basement.
A mind and me, it can be so sweet. Let yourself get lost in your dream. The sunshine calls out to me. Come and get your music on. Come and let yourself be. The waves that resonate make you feel fine. Sunshine beat come creeping down the shoreline. Sunshine is shining down. Beats never drop, no beats never stop, no. Drums are beating, moments fleeting. Try to catch it, oh, we're gonna catch it. Never let it go, never let it. I'll be out here all night long. That's what it takes. I see love sound that yourself drown, tide rolls on despite what you believe in. Sunshine calls out to me. Come and let your music on, come and let yourself be free. Drums are beating, sunshine greeting your face. There must be some way to stop this from slipping away, slipping away. Waves receding, moments fleeting. Trying to catch it, oh, we're gonna catch it. Never let it go, we'll never let it. I'll be out here all night long. That's what it takes. Drums are beating, sunshine greeting your face. There must be some way to stop this from slipping away, yeah. Waves receding, moments are fleeting. Try to catch it, oh, we're gonna catch it. Never let it go, never let it. I'll be out here all night long. If that's what it takes. All right, Sunshine
Hell
Beach.
yeah, dude. Oh man, dude, that's it. It is, dude. You know what? We were just saying that it's hard for a one person to bring the vibe, but damn, that steel drum goes a long way, man.
Oh,
It puts a
thanks, man.
oh, dude. Well, we're here at the end of the show. So at this is when we like to do plugs. So you're coming out with a new EP we just heard, so that's a plug. Where can people find your music online and find you online?
Yeah. Um, our music is everywhere. Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, Bandcamp, all those good things. You can find us on Facebook. Just search Jamwave. We're also on Instagram at Jamwave Songs. And we're also on Reverb Nation. I don't know if you use Reverb Nation, but I
Hell
like to
yeah,
use
man.
that. That's a great platform, and all the music is there. Well, you can you can just stream it, download it if you want. But you know, I think you would agree that the music is free. You can get the music for free. We just want to get it out there.
Sure. Totally, man. I've got the link to I think the Jamwave Facebook and the Jamwave Bandcamp. I'll put Reverb Nation. I'll edit that and put that in the link description. And then
Awesome.
another plug that it's not really a thing yet, but you and me were talking a couple months back of doing the Battle of the Duo Bands. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And we were gonna do a
Yes.
show where it was like you and Nick Fed and like man, we could get like Peaceful Sorrow to do that, I think, and like
Yeah.
me and Joe Wall. I'll play drums for Joe Wall. And we
Oh,
just do Battle of the Duo Bands.
dude, we have to do that. Like,
I know.
hopefully in the fall, maybe when things are back to normal. Let's do that for sure. That has to happen.
Yeah, I've always thought that, man, when we were talking about it, I was like, man, Battle of the Duo Bands would be so funny. So, anyway, Well, dude, thanks for coming on the show and sitting down for a while and talking about music and your story in music. I'm really loving this because one, I go back and I listen to the whole catalog of whoever's on the show, and that's super fun.
Yes.
And then I just like to hear the stories, man. There's so many more, so we'll have to have you back sometime.
Oh, please, and please keep doing this. Like this has been such a great outlet to watch these, and when I'm like, how long have we been in quarantine, or how long have we been doing this? I'm like, oh yeah, it's week
It's
6 or
seven.
week
It's
7
episode
of Brian's
seven.
show. It's 7, yeah. So that's how I count the weeks, is by what show we're on.
That's
'Cause
funny,
it started
man.
on St. Patrick's Day, and,
Yeah.
you know.
Cool, man. Well, dude, thanks so much. If you can just stay on the line, I'm gonna play a song and then we'll chat after.
Yeah,
Okay. Cool, man. Well,
awesome, man.
to
Thank you.
everyone out there, um, you got to get your call-in section games up, right? We're not doing great in that regard, so let's try to get that up, viewers out there. And if you can't do that, at least go and like Jamwave's page, download their music, jam to it. Anything during this time, all of my friends' music has been like just a really fun thing to do. So dig into it. It's all out there. All right, I'm gonna play a song before we go here tonight, and I didn't know what I was gonna play tonight for this song, and I was gonna like ask for requests, but I'm glad I didn't because no one ever calls in apparently. Uh, but, but right before the show, I got news that my friend Alex and his girlfriend Erin got engaged. And so yeah, so that's really exciting. And Alex has been a like songwriting partner for me. He does all of the sweaty toilet stuff, and he always like looks over my stuff before I send. He's one of like the 4 or 5 people I send everything to before it goes out to see if this is good. So I'm gonna play the song that I always when I play this song I always think about how back in 2014 I was sitting on his floor at his apartment in Jefferson City, and I played this song which was new at the time. And he said, I can't remember what he exactly said, but he was just like, I really like that song, and it gave me a lot of confidence to know that he liked it. So this was a song that ended up appearing on House of Tropicals, and it's a song about distance and kind of the heartbreak that comes with it. And I know that Alex and Erin have dealt with that, so I'm really happy for them. So I'm just going to play this song. It's called Eyes of Green. You packed your bags for the ride, but don't forget some baggage of mine. 'Cause I've amassed a massive rotting pile of feelings over this time. You hit the road at 8:30. Old River Road to West LA. Put 3,000 miles smack dab in the way of you and me. Me and those eyes of green. Some say love never dies, but I've been stabbing it with distance and time. But all my weapons can make me forget those eyes that I've seen. You and your eyes of green. And when I am lonely, this is where you'll find me, sitting all so quietly, just hoping again that I may see those eyes of green, your eyes of green, your eyes of green, your eyes of green. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in this week. I really appreciate it. Some of you have said really nice things about the show, and I'm really happy that you guys are all watching. So have a good rest of the week, and until next time. Well, thank Kim said, "What about me?" Thank you, Kim, for being the producer and running the clap thing. Anyway, until next week, do whatever the hell you want. I don't know. See ya.